Well, today was a very historic day because we saw the release of a game that has been somewhat in active development for the last 9 years, though I think it was first conceived 11 years ago. That's right, The Last Guardian somehow has made it to release day. My name is Razzle. I'm joined by Shake for episode 41 here on December the 6th, 2016 of the Prattlecast.
Yeah, I hear that The Last Guardian's actually doing really well.
I
That's
hope
what
it
I've heard.
is. You know what? They've had plenty of time to get it right. So
Yeah, I've been hearing nothing but good things. Like, people have been watching playthroughs. Somebody's already got a full walkthrough on YouTube, and it's supposedly doing good.
I mean, imagine if it didn't, though, because that's like an entire 10 years of your life that you devoted. Like, if you started working on that game at age 21, you're kind of ending at around 30 or so. And so that's that whole part of your life, and then you release it, and imagine it just being critically panned. That would be awful.
Yeah,
But
but
no,
you became an adult, like, making that game. You became a real grown-up making that game.
like, I'm wondering, like, how many of the original people are still there
Probably
from
none
the
of them.
beginning. They all went on to do other things.
I have a hard time believing anybody stuck around for 10 years. I mean, because that didn't really feel like a passion project to me.
Well, I mean, I think that the lead guy was on it throughout the whole time, but
I would hope he stayed.
Like, I think he even left Sony, but he was still working on the game. So,
Well, that's good of him. I haven't played it yet. I refuse to watch it until I play it myself.
well, yeah, I mean,
But-
why spoil that after 11 years?
Some people don't care. They just want to see it, and I'm just like, I'll wait. I want to play it. I want to get my hands on it here in like a week or two, and then I'll be able to form a valid opinion on it.
And less exciting news, another game just came out on the PS4 called Ark Survival Evolved.
Nobody cares.
I know. So anyway,
Wait a minute. I do have a question though.
Okay.
They're just releasing Ark on that system now.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, they've always wanted to do it. I mean, they've had it on Xbox One now for God knows how long. And so they've always intended to release it on PS4, and I think today is the day. So
That game isn't still considered early access, is it?
well, I mean, I think it's disputable at this point if it is because of the whole DLC release
I mean, I think
and everything else.
it looks like it is.
Releasing downloadable content for an early access game. Who knew? It's not released yet, but here, buy some DLC for the unreleased game. Ridiculous.
Uninstalled, deleted, don't care about what they do with their futures. It's fine.
Yeah, I actually uninstalled mine too a while back.
Yeah, I think you uninstalled it the day you heard about the DLC.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah,
paid
I haven't-
DLC for Ark, you were like, I am all set with that shit.
Yeah, I got rid of it that day.
Yeah.
I haven't gone back.
Yeah,
Which
it was shitty of them. I don't think they should have done that.
It's the only game you can really play as a compy, unless you count like the really old Jurassic Park where you had that compy level.
They're coming. There was actually just a stream of the Isle where they were showing the compy in motion, and they're working on it. It's gonna be out soon.
Oh my God! I've got to stay away from the Isle until it's released now.
Yeah,
now that
come
I know.
on, no!
Now that it's imminent, are you kidding me?
I need friendship. You need to get good at the game.
I am very good at this game.
We're
I am
gonna
the
get
best
you.
at this
We're
game.
gonna get you so good.
I get good.
You're gonna get
I'm
so
God.
good at this. But the new maps also. It's probably gonna be released with the new map
That's okay.
when that comes out, because they just released this giant dinosaur that's bigger than the T-Rex. I don't know why, but they've got that there.
Ginormous Rex.
They've got enough carnivores. Like, they need more herbivores. But anyway, you'll be a compy soon.
Yeah. Well, we'll see, and then I can give a review of the compy.
It was up to your standards.
Yeah.
I mean, anything's better than Ark, so I think it'll win.
Well, I will say briefly, real fast, something I'm hoping to talk about next week is I should have my my Oculus Touch controllers, so I'll be able to give a brief review on the motion controllers with the Oculus Rift, and I'm kind of excited about that.
Have you done those free like VR things on Steam?
The what?
Like the free VR things? They have like the
Oh, well,
dinosaur ones and stuff.
Yeah, I'm staying away from anything that requires like hand motion controllers because the Rifts just came out. And so I should be getting mine soon, like this week soon. And so as soon as I get those in hand, I should be able to try a lot of the free stuff that's out there. And I know that it comes bundled with 1 or 2 free games. So I haven't really looked into it too much. I do know that it's gotten really great reviews so far. People are saying it's the best hand controllers for any VR device at the moment, which doesn't surprise me because of how long, they spent working on it. But yeah, I'm excited, and they say it's going to increase immersion, and that makes me very happy.
Well, no shit, it's going to increase immersion.
Moving your hands around.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm excited. Someday I will be following you on this journey. We'll have our movie theater.
Well, they said they're not going to be shipping out the Omni treadmills to the international clients, so they're only shipping them into the continental U.S., which is kind of a bad sign, and it could link Omni treadmills as being possibly a fad that will unfortunately die off.
What?
But yeah, I mean, we don't know. I mean, it's still early days.
I mean, I
but
still kind of want one.
I do too, just because of the exercise, or
That's
maybe
really my only reason. Like that's my reason, is like that might be the only thing that properly motivates me. I require like a lot of motivation, and that's probably what will do it. Because honestly, like if you tell me like, hey, you want to hop on the Omni and like just like walk around in GTA, yeah, totally, I'll do that for like 6 hours, totally. I can only do it once, and then like my legs are done for 4 days, but I'm fine. But I don't know. I think it has potential to be a good thing. I hope it isn't a fad.
I hope it isn't either.
Because I want it to. There might be another reason why they're not doing it internationally.
Well, I mean, it costs a lot of money to do it, but they basically canceled pre-orders. So people have had these pre-orders for quite a while, and just recently they said, well, we're not doing the international orders anymore. We're canceling these. I mean, maybe they shouldn't have opened up those pre-orders if this was a possibility. But
they could think it might just be too dangerous to ship.
I think it has to do with the weight of the device and how much it costs to ship it.
Well, yeah, because shipping across the country, like the shipping costs of that could be upwards of like those could probably over $100.
Yeah,
and then you send it overseas.
I hope it works out, because I would love something like this to catch on, but I don't know if it will or not, and we will see. But it's really just about how things happen from here on out. There's a lot of VR stuff coming out. There's like wireless displays people are coming up with. Eventually, you'll have like the hand motion where it's just your hands and no controllers at all. So, I mean, things are happening really fast in the world of virtual reality, and it's just kind of exciting to watch all of this happening right now, like I'm in some frickin' 80s movie watching this.
Just watching my life slip away before my eyes. Just like, oh, look at that. That's where my life's going to end up, right there.
Everybody eventually ends up there, so.
So we've got we've got like real news.
Yeah, I know, and we had 2 big conferences. We had the Game Awards, and we had the just recently the PSX this past weekend, and both of them had
forgot about.
I think I forgot about it too, but then I saw it on Twitter. I'm like, okay, well, let me go look at this, and I caught some of the last bits of it. But yeah, they both came out with some interesting information in the world of video games. I think 2 games in particular we should touch on today.
I mean, I would say 3, but that's okay.
I mean, there's 2 in particular that I'm thinking of, but I'm sure there's the third one in there too.
Mm-hmm, so. The third one, which Razzle doesn't care about, but I'm gonna bring up anyway.
Oh, Jesus.
I'll save it for last, so that I can quickly segue into something else. Oh, there's actually 4 games.
Well, there's probably a lot of games that I'm not thinking of.
Well, no, like everything else I don't care about. Like, I think the most ridiculous thing I saw that like people were really excited about, but I didn't care, is a remastered Crash Bandicoot.
Oh yeah. I caught the tail end of them showing something off about Crash Bandicoot.
Ugh. I just don't understand.
I don't understand the difference between that and Banjo-Kazooie, so I'm still
Excuse me,
lost.
Okay, let me tell you the difference. Crash
Bandicoot
Bandicoot is some kind of weird weasel thing. I don't know what he is.
Yeah, I know.
Banjo-Kazooie is a bear and a bird. A bear that plays the banjo, and Kazooie the bird, he's a bird that plays the kazoo.
And I'm not going to remember this. I mean, you told me this before. I don't remember this.
It just disturbs me that you have no sense of culture in your life.
I have plenty of culture, just not for this.
It's disgusting. But Which one do we do first? I mean, we did just watch the PSX panel
Why
on
don't
The
we start
Last of
with
Us
that?
2.
Let's
Which
start with that.
I would say, first of all, don't watch the panel.
Well, no, you should watch the panel. It had some good stuff in there.
Just watch parts of it.
Just watch the highlights.
Just watch the highlight reel. It's very short. It would cut out 20 minutes of your life. Which is no fault of the people that were up there, because they had Troy Baker, Ashley Johnson, and Neil Druckmann, but the guy interviewing them, Andy McNamara, does not know what he's doing. And it was just, I was suffering through that. But there was some cool stuff there. We found out that the...
We're talking about Last of Us Part 2, by the way.
Yeah, I said that at the beginning.
I didn't hear that.
Well, maybe if you paid attention to anything I said, we wouldn't have these problems.
Attention. Oh
See,
my God.
I can't stand this. This is our last one. I'm done.
We're done
anyway,
after
this is
41 is enough.
I just need to pretend to be nice to you for the rest of this. Anyway, so now that I'm enraged, they're bringing back the artist who did all the music, the soundtrack for the first one. He's back. And he's doing all the music for this one. I don't know his name. I'm not going to pretend to. Do you know his name?
I don't even know my name half the time.
Okay, well, it's a Spanish guy. So you guys can figure it out.
Wow.
Begins with a G. I do know that it does begin with a G. But they did show some concept art. We got a sampling of the new like opening song. And they showed us the trailer for the game. What did you think of the trailer?
Well, I saw it with the reveal. So I'll say this. Because here's the thing. Here's the setup for this. Because at the very end of PSX this year, they had shown a lot of games. Most of it looked like garbage. And I'm sorry to even have to say that. But to me, it looked like games I'm not going to waste my time with.
Probably not. No, I would agree.
There were some good ones in there, like Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm definitely going to be playing that. But most of it was just a bunch of stuff I don't really care about. And that's the thing about the PlayStation experience anyway, is that it's always going to be PlayStation games, and they just don't have – I mean, don't get me wrong. They've got a lot of great blockbusters, but to have an entire convention centered around it, guess what? There's going to be one in particular studio who's just going to hog the whole show, and it's always Naughty Dog. Now, what's interesting here is at the very end of PSX, they had the guy who I think he's in charge of Sony USA, and he was up there kind of giving the closing speech. And so it really seemed like, this was it. But we always know there's always going to be something at the end. So we're just sitting there patiently. And eventually, as he's closing the show, he says, well, there is one other thing we wanted to show you. And keep in mind, they didn't bring out anybody from Naughty Dog for this. It's just him up there. And he says, they've got a team that's been working really hard. And they're really excited to have been able to get this together for you guys. So I'm not even going to set this up. Just here it is. And so I'm really intrigued because I thought we were about to get like an original IP or something new. And that first shot comes on and it's just, the forest. And I'm immediately – this is where my mind is. I'm thinking, oh, my God, it's going to be an animal simulator and we're going to play as bunnies and deer. That's where my mind is. But then the very next shot of that shows that car, that beaten down car. And in that moment, I was like, oh, my God, this is The Last of Us because that's the look.
Yeah.
And the audience is clearly catching on here, too, because they're starting to cheer a little bit. And then as soon as you see that stop sign, that's kind of like the confirmation. There it is. And from there on out, I was like, I had two emotions in this moment. Number one, I was really excited. The other one was, oh my God, Shake's going to hate this. And I thought that because you have spoken out against a Last of Us sequel for so long.
I have, yeah.
And so you know what I had to do? In that moment, I immediately tweeted because I knew you were going to read it.
Yeah.
And sure enough, there you were.
Immediately, like right after you posted it, I was like, are you fucking serious? Because like I don't even remember exactly what I said, but it was along the lines of like I was shocked, angry, and excited at the same time. Because I literally just said in last week's podcast that they should not make a Last of Us 2, and like a couple days later.
Well, that's right. Because
there
I
they
think
go.
they were rumoring that might be showing it at the Game Awards or something like that. There was like a rumor or something. I think we brought
Yeah,
up.
because I had mentioned, like, I was just like, I don't think they should do it. I don't think they need to. I don't need to see it. And then a couple days later, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what? Like,
There it is.
is this really what's happening right now? But I will say, after seeing it, and from, like, what I've seen in the trailer, I don't think I'm mad. Like, I
Yeah.
felt I was much more excited than I was, like, worried. And even in the panel, like, Neil Druckmann was trying really hard to, like, assure everybody. He's like, we understand how people feel about this. He's like, we feel the same way. And he's like, and we really do care about it. And, like, I believed him. I was like, okay, Dad, just please don't fail. I just can't have you do a bad job. But I'm really excited from the trailer, and I have, like, I have, like, some theories and questions.
Well, there's one thing I wanted to mention right off the bat before we get into those. You might have noticed it too, and I know that a lot of people online have noticed it. But that bedroom, that's the loading screen from the original game. Like, you remember how you have like the
I
menu
did
screen
not
with the
notice
window?
that.
Yeah, like if you go back and watch the curtain, apparently that's the room that you see
Are
at
you
the beginning.
sure?
I'm not 100% sure, but when I looked at it, because somebody brought this up online, and so I went back and looked at it, and it looks very similar. I haven't seen the menu screen in a while, but the way the curtain is and the way the little seal is, it looks very similar, and it makes me go, huh, what
I'm
if
gonna have to investigate this.
there's like this connecting thing there? Like, did they put all these like little
Or if it's
clues and
just like
things
a
like
little
that?
Easter egg to be like, oh, do you remember?
It might
It
be.
could just be that of like a do you remember? It might mean nothing at all.
But
It
there are a
might
lot
not
of
even be
online
the same.
theories, but we'll go ahead into yours here, and we'll see what happens.
Well, okay, I have like two trains of thought here. Like my one thing is considering like she's 19 years old now. They confirmed that she's 19. I forget how old she was in the first one.
He was like about 14 or 15, I think,
Yeah.
if I
So
remember right.
it's been like 4 or 5 years since the last game. I'm hard pressed to believe that Joel hasn't told her about what happened. I can't see him lying to her for that long or it not coming back to bite him in the ass. So I'm wondering if he's told her and if her saying she's going to kill everybody is somehow still a reaction to that. But then after they told us how old she was, I was like, okay, 5 years later, I don't think she's still doing this. Like, I don't think she'd still be going after them. And then my second thought was, is Joel even actually alive?
Yeah, that's
Because
one
he
that's
comes
been.
in kind of like all. It just seems very almost. I don't want to say angel-like. It just doesn't seem real the way he comes in. Like the
Yeah.
way he walks through the door, like he kind of appears and he comes in, and I wonder if she's just seeing him and he's like speaking to her, like as kind of like, you know, like a guardian of some kind, and she's just seeing it in her head and he's not actually there.
Yeah, I've seen that one online quite a bit, the Joel is dead theory,
Oh, I
which,
haven't looked. I don't use the internet because I'm horrible.
but yeah, and which is a pretty popular theory, and it certainly has a lot of things going for it just based on the trailer. But at the same time, it's like, well, we'll find out, I guess.
Right, because we don't know. Because if he is still alive, I'm wondering how that dynamic changes. Because he's obviously not like her caregiver anymore. Because he's like, oh, what are you gonna do? Like, he doesn't tell her what to do anymore. He doesn't have that sway.
And they made it very clear this is going to be a story about hate, which I assume means possibly revenge, which could lead some credence to that theory, where if he's dead or if he gets killed, she goes out of her way to hunt down the people who killed him. And maybe he's there kind of as her own conscience kind of throughout the game, maybe following her around, but not really able to assist her very well. But who knows?
Yeah, or even just, you know, or it could be as simple as she finds out about, you know, that she was going to die. Because I can't remember now. Did she know she was going to die to do the whole cure thing?
Well, I mean that was kind of the whole ending, and with the part one is
Yeah,
that they
because I
left it
don't
kind of
think
open
she
ended.
knew. She didn't know originally, obviously. She thought they were just going to do some stuff and she was going to be fine.
Well, I
But
mean,
she,
there's like the two popular things with part one's ending is, and it's kind of like split people. Like what does Ellie know at the end? Does she believe Joel at the end? There's been like two trains of thought on it. And, I don't really read up on whether or not developers have confirmed or whatever, either one.
Well, they still even said on the panel, Troy was saying that it's still open.
Yeah.
Like, they never closed those doors for anybody. But I think, just from how she looked at the end of the first game, like when she looks at him and she's like, okay, I don't think she believed him. But that's just me. Maybe that's not the case.
And see, I had the total opposite. Like when I was watching it, I thought she did. Like I thought that or if she didn't, she was willing to believe it just to, move on. But
I thought she was skeptical and was like, all right, like I woke up and we're not there anymore. That's strange. Like, I don't know. I thought it was off. But I'm curious to see the direction they go, and at least I know I'm not the only one who thinks he could be dead.
Oh yeah, a lot of people think he might be dead in this one, but who knows?
But if he is, I don't think she did it.
No,
that would be a revenge case.
Yeah, I don't think that she purposefully did it. I'll put it like that.
And I think I don't know, maybe I could be wrong, because sometimes the firefly symbols are all over the place, that she could be targeting fireflies.
Yeah, and there's another thing where she could be having to seek out the people who are not necessarily the people, but knowing that there is a possible cure. It's been a couple of years. If she finds out about it, and if she finds out that she could have a role in it, maybe there's someone that I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud, but I still think this is probably going to be centered around hate and such, so probably not. So never mind.
No.
Let's leave my train of thought.
I'm curious. One other thing that they didn't mention at all, but I care about, is whether or not Joel's brother is going to come back in any way, because he had that whole community set up, of actual homes. They were running off solar power. Like, things seemed really good there. Because you never actually got to go into the community in the first game. You just kind of saw it from a hilltop. So I'm curious. Well, I would be interested to see if they bring him back in some way.
Yeah.
And then somehow integrate him in, or we see what has happened there. Because I liked him. Maybe he didn't have an effect on other people, but I liked the character.
But yeah, right now everything's just kind of up in the air, speculation until we really learn more. But yeah, I'm interested in it, and as we know, Ellie will be the main character, so the playable character for most of the game. Will another character be playable? Possibly. It's not beyond Naughty Dog to do that, where they have you control a different character here and there.
Yeah, they're very tight-lipped about the whole thing.
As they should be.
I know, and they're not giving release dates because they know better.
Yeah, why would they even bother with that right now? There was a teaser.
Yeah. So. I know, which they made a year and a half ago. That teaser's just been sitting there for a year and a half. Just waiting for the right moment. Just figuring it out. But they probably wouldn't have released it earlier because of Uncharted.
Well, yeah. Uncharted kind of has taken up the majority of their... In fact, they even opened the show with the Uncharted... I don't know if it's technically DLC or not, but...
It's a game.
The new stuff they're coming... Is it a new game?
Yeah.
So it's a complete independent game?
Yes.
Oh. So there's going to be a new Uncharted game?
Yes. I don't think it's going to be very good.
Why is that?
Because it seems like it was put together very quickly. Uncharted 4 just came out. And it focuses on two characters I don't care about.
Well, that's always personal preference.
Yeah, I could give a fuck less about Chloe and whoever that crazy black British lady was. I don't care about them. And they showed, gameplay. But here's the thing. When you show gameplay, let me see the game. Instead, you showed me my character walking on a linear path where I know for a fact all I can do is move my controller thing forward. And that's it. I can't do anything else. So that's all you showed me was me moving forward, so you got to show me what the game looked like. They didn't really give you much of anything with that. I don't know why they're doing it. It's just milking Uncharted, in my opinion. It just should have just left it alone at 4. Or if you were going to do something with their daughter. I don't know. I don't really care about it.
I don't know. I'm going to check it out, see if
I'll end up getting it.
So,
Yeah, I'll end up owning it and playing it, but I just don't care about it. Like, it's not. I'm just like, oh, okay, well, I guess you guys can do that. I mean, it's your choice. It's your
I,
life.
I've been trying to get into the latest Tomb Raider, the one that came out, I guess, about a year or two ago, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and so far I find it. I'm having some issues with it because it just seems so similar to the first game that it's almost hard to get into. I guess is the
It was so similar. How? Like, I mean, it
gameplay
should feel the
mechanics.
same somewhat.
I know, but at the same time, I feel like maybe it's a little too similar in some ways.
Like, they
But
didn't
I don't
try
know.
to add anything new. They didn't try to give you something different.
Well, I mean, I'm still early on in it, so I'm gonna have to wait a while before I give an official verdict on it. But just where I'm at right now, I just kind of keep feeling like it doesn't feel like how Uncharted built on its predecessors. It feels more like, oh, same game. Okay, neat.
It's like, oh, we'll give you a new story, but we don't really want to change anything else. So
Yeah,
we're
and
not
I
gonna.
don't know.
But
I
it
don't
could
know.
change if you're at the very
You know,
beginning. Who knows?
I think it also has to do with the fact that with Uncharted, you have like these really interesting side characters, and
Yeah.
Tomb Raider has side characters, but they're not that interesting.
Oh
So,
no, I don't even remember anybody from the Tomb Raider game. Like I remember my character, but I don't remember any of the side characters.
yeah, none of them really mattered. They were just kind of
No.
there.
I mean, they all died. So, spoiler
Whereas
alert.
in Uncharted, you got like Sully and Sully
Yeah.
and
You
Sully
have
and
Sully and Sully and
and I think there were some other people
the
too,
Sully love
but
interest, women Sully. Then you have
but
his
yeah,
brother in the fourth one, who's wonderful.
yeah, you have him. So they usually
You have
introduce new
Sam.
characters with each game.
Well, the
So
thing
yeah.
is, I found with Tomb Raider, I cared more about playing the game and less about the characters because I don't even care about Lara Croft. I just don't care. She doesn't really have a personality to me. There's no way she could have survived any of those injuries. She's a horrible person. I just don't, I just don't think she's not very believable in the game. Neither are any of the other people though in that game. But I just thought it was fun to play.
Yeah, I mean, with Lara Croft versus Nathan Drake, I think that Lara Croft does come off a little bit too much like a video game character,
Uh
in
huh.
that she's, I mean, there's just, I guess Nathan Drake just has this personality where
He's
he's
got that
relatable
charisma,
and
and
he's kind of goofy and he's
yeah.
not afraid of that, and like he can make mistakes, whereas Lara Croft, like especially in the game I'm playing right now, she gets like really serious about shit, and I'm sitting here like, oh, okay. I mean, they've got some backstory stuff with Laura in this game, so that's kind of neat, but it also feels like they're kind of copying what Nathan Drake's been doing. So, I mean, as far as like showing childhood stuff and like
Well,
whatever.
yeah. I mean, we have to get to know her even if we don't necessarily care. But I found with Uncharted, I had like the opposite feeling. Like I hated the gameplay of the Uncharted games up until the fourth one. I loved the fourth one, but I stayed for the characters. I did not like the
Mhm.
gameplay though in any of the Uncharted games until the fourth one because I felt like they were all so clunky. But the
I
fourth one
liked all
kind
of
of
them. I
saved it
liked all
for
of them.
me. Yeah, I just thought it was very frustrating to play through, but I just wanted to know what happened with people, so I kept going.
Yeah, but I would agree that Part 4 is definitely the best out of the
After you've
Uncharted
played
games.
four,
So.
I don't know how to go back to the other three. I don't know how to. I'm just like, I've played four. Like, that's all I ever need to play. Because it's fun to play. Like, you can just replay parts of it and be like, yeah, this was good. I enjoyed this.
But there's another game I really want to talk about too,
Mm.
and so here we go. With the Game Awards, of course, we got to see the very first gameplay footage of Mass Effect Andromeda, and it looks pretty wild, pretty crazy, pretty fun. And the thing I was paying attention to the most with this trailer was the powers being used because I noticed
Yeah,
like
I
the
was watching the
icons.
combat sequences.
Yeah, I mean, with the icons look different, but you could tell they were like upgraded versions, like a barrier, for instance. Like I don't know if that's what they're calling it in the new game, but in the old games, like if you used barrier, that made like your armor have that glowy orb thing to it, and it lasted like a minute, and it helped reduce injury. Whereas in this game, there seems to be something similar to that, but when they mashed it, like their arm comes up, it's sort of a shield, so it looks a
Yeah,
little
like
bit
the blue
realistic.
round shield thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
And I also noticed they used, I think the power was called Charge. It was a Vanguard skill back in Mass Effect where you basically are kind of like almost teleporting forward to hit somebody. They were
Mm-hmm.
using that. And they were also using, I noticed Concussive Shot, which I think had the exact same icon as the old game. So that kind of made it stand out because the other ones, new icons, maybe even new names. But it makes me really excited. And I'm really hoping they have the oh God, I've already forgotten the name of it. The bowling one where you kind of like shoot that biotic power forward and it just kind of bum like you're
Oh yeah, yeah, I know
throwing a
what you're
bowling
talking
ball.
about. I
That's
don't
like
remember what it's called though.
my favorite skill, and I'm having a total mind blank, which happens. But yeah, that's those are my favorites. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and look that up while you go into some stuff too.
Well, yeah, when I was watching the combat, it looks very fluid. Like it looks like we have much more freedom around the field. Like because we can obviously like, it looks like we've got like the jetpack thing, which they already said we would have, so we can jump up on higher platforms. We can do we can do that charge attack in midair and just
Hmm.
come flying down on everybody. And I noticed they opened up they opened up like the weapon wheel and stuff,
Yeah.
which I wasn't disappointed with it, because I first saw it open, I'm like, please don't. And then I was like, okay, this is fine. Because I'm nervous about how things are going to be. And so I was paying attention to the way all the fighting was, because it feels like it's going to be a lot more intense than the other games. I feel like it's going to be we're going to be doing a lot more moving around. There's going to be a lot more freedom around the field. And if we're not tied down to a specific type, I mean, yeah, you could just choose to be a regular soldier hiding behind cover the whole time, but you could also mix up all these abilities and be all over the field all the time. And
Yeah,
I
and
think that's going to be really cool if that's what we can end up doing.
I mean, and at first I was kind of against the idea, but now that I'm looking at it again, I'm like, well, that means I can finally use Charge because you had to be a Vanguard to use Charge, and I always like playing a pure Biotic. So I can use that now. I can like add other skills, but Shockwave is the skill I was thinking of, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was my favorite. So I can add like my favorites and maybe add some new skills that I didn't use very much in the older games because I never played those characters. Maybe even give myself some engineer skills because I never played an engineer. I never really cared for that track, but once you go biotic, you're there for life.
Well, and once I've always been soldier. Like
I know.
I never cared about any of that stuff. Like I was playing for other reasons. but I just didn't care. Now when I do these playthroughs, I'm like, you know what? I want to try other things. I want to see what I can do now. Like you got me really interested in seeing how all the biotic stuff works,
Oh yeah.
and getting really into it. So I want to try that stuff out. But I was also looking when they were showing all the combat stuff, like where like it's showing your shields and health and all like the button system that's to the right of that.
Yeah.
We haven't had that before.
No, and I was actually curious if we were going to have like the ability to map more powers because
That's what
like in
I
the
wondered looking at it, was like, okay, is that like my set stuff that goes there? Can I change those? Can I have
because
more?
it's really ridiculous that we only had like the ability to put three powers on there. I think it was like had like the Y button or the
Yeah, it
triangle on
still looks
PlayStation.
like 3 on there though. It still
I
looks like
know, but
3.
I'm like, they should put more on there because there's no reason not to. It was always a little weird that you had to like pull up the wheel and then select the power, and you could only have three, whereas I
I know
always
you're
wanted to use five
manually
or
hitting
six.
it though, and then sometimes when you do manually hit a power, it doesn't work.
I
So then
know.
you go in and do
It's
it again. You're like, maybe this time. Maybe I won't die in between.
And one thing I will say, because I went back and I started playing some of the older games, and looking at the combat they have in this trailer versus the combat in the old games, this game looks better as far as the combat goes, because the
Yeah.
old games, I forgot how clunky a lot of it was, even in part 3, when they had a chance to flesh it out. Like, a lot of the character models were very stiff, and this, they look a lot more fluid. Which is one positive thing I will say about Inquisition is that they did a good job as far as the animations almost of the characters and the way they moved and the way they looked and the way clothing worked, the way it could like wavy wind and hair and stuff. So all of that stuff will be a welcome change. And I'm looking forward to it. Like I so want to play it right this second. I just want to fight these evil monsters
Yeah,
using my
I'm
powers.
really excited about it. Because I just like watching everything in motion. Even watching the female rider walk around that. I'm not sure if it was a town or just a base or what it was really. But like even seeing her walk around that, I was like, oh my god, it's Mass Effect. Like I got really excited because it's still, even though it looks so different now, because it looks different, it looks completely different from the other games. It still feels like Mass Effect. So as I'm watching her walk around, I'm like, can I be there yet? Because I want her to walk down there. Can we talk to these people? Can she just listen to me for a minute? Like I just want to do it. I just really wanted to get in there the moment I saw her in motion.
I just want to get in that Mako or whatever the hell they're calling it now and
It's
just
the
ride
Nomad.
around. The Nomad.
Yes, and I
Oh,
actually, it looks like it handles and controls so much better.
listen, the Mako was amazing. I
The
don't know what you're
Mako was a
talking about.
fucking train wreck.
You just can't drive.
Oh my god, that's
But
true. I'm sorry, I can't even.
so what do you think about? Because I think we have the female Turian. Really, I think this is the first female Turian we've ever seen.
She doesn't speak though, which kind of bugged me because I wanted to hear her. The Krogans sounded eerily similar to other Krogans.
Well, I mean, they all sound alike, really. I mean, if you
Yeah,
go back to the original games, they all had that same
but
gruffy
I'm still really
tone.
excited that we have a Krogan. Like that kind of makes me like, I don't know. It's just like a comfort thing, I guess. I'm like, oh,
I mean,
Krogans.
I like it, but at the same time, I'm like, in that point in the story, which was the beginning of Mass Effect 2, the Krogans are kind of dying out still. Like, even if you choose to kind of help them and save them later on,
Which you did
they're
not.
still there. I didn't, but some people did, and so but they're still dying out, and it's just weird that there's one there. But I guess whatever, we'll
Well,
go
they're
with it.
bringing them to the new world too, even though they populate like fucking rabbits.
Yeah,
I don't know
and
why they're doing it.
and I really wish Rex was a love interest too, because he was the first
Yes,
alien I really bonded with.
I
So
really, you know what? And I've met so many other people that feel the same way because I thought I was crazy for a while because I'm like, why? I wish I could romance Rex, and everyone's like, why would you do that? And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, he's a fucking Krogan, and I'm like, but he's cute. Like I like Rex. Like I'm friends with him. Like I've connected with him. Like we could really have something here. And then like other people, like I remember streaming it and talking about it at one point, and other people were like, yeah, like Rex should have been, and they didn't understand why he wasn't. But yeah, Garrus was.
now I don't know how many of the characters will be romanceable, but one thing they did say was that characters will have different types of romances. Some of them will basically be, I guess, similar to one night stands, like, hop in the sack or whatever, whereas other ones will actually be storylines,
But can you pick, like, if it's a one night stand, or do you not have that choice?
No, I think it's based on who that character is.
Oh my
Like,
god, what if I
I
pick the
think,
wrong one?
in fact, the guy that was talking about it said that one of his favorite romances was somebody who's not even in the crew. It's somebody you meet on a planet. And so I'm like, huh, that's interesting. And it makes me wonder how many characters will be romanceable, and will they all
How
be
much
like,
sex are we having?
because like in Inquisition, a lot of
It's
them, like they
crazy.
also, I think in Inquisition they did sexual orientations with characters, which was a little weird because it's almost like, it's a video game. They should just open up all the orientations, fuck whoever you want. I'm always for that. But in this, I don't know if they're going to do that or if they're going to do like Inquisition. I assume they're going to open them all up this
So you
time.
would rather all the characters just be bisexual?
No, I mean, I guess player sexual is more of what I had in
Because
mind.
I don't, like, for me that would take the realism out of it for me if like every character is like, yeah, okay, I'll do whatever because it's you.
No, no, that's not what I mean. I mean, like, everybody's experience with the game would be different. Like, if you go in and you want to romance this character here, that's all cool and everything, and you go romance that character, whatever. And then, but somebody else playing the game could romance somebody else. To me, I think that makes sense.
Oh,
You
well, I
wouldn't
guess,
have to.
yeah, I guess I get where you're coming from.
And also, I mean, in a lot of games, you don't really have gay romance interests, and BioWare introduced that as early back, I guess technically with KOTOR, but they didn't really have male-male. That didn't come in until Jade Empire, which was the first game that I ever played where you could have a male-male romance angle, and it was really cool. And I remember just thinking, hey, this is different. I like this. And in Mass Effect 1, they didn't have it at all. I mean, you could count a lesbian relationship between Liara and Femshep, but there was no male-male relationship until really part 3.
And all the
So
characters aren't open. Like if you're a male, you can't go after Garrus later on. Like you
right,
can't do
and
that. I think is it Caden and the other? Isn't there one other guy on
yeah,
the ship?
the two characters you could romance would have been the guy who works on the ships in like the I guess the basement of the ship.
Yeah, the guy in the
Cortez
basement
is it?
who's
What was
not
his
even
name?
that great.
I think it
Ugh,
was Cortez, wasn't it?
it
I can't.
is.
And then there was Caden, who
Yeah.
was in my opinion, the better choice.
Well,
Because
yeah,
Cortez,
he's more of a person.
I
So,
would agree with you. And I think that's another reason why I'm saying this is because sometimes you don't know what you're going to get whenever you have like the orientation thing. With Inquisition, you had like there was one male character who was purely gay, and you could not romance him if you were playing a female character. In fact, I think the most romances you could have in that game came if you were playing a female character, as far as options. So there were more bi options, lesbian options, straight options
that's
for
not
men.
really surprising.
I know,
It's
but
just
what I'm saying
not
is,
like it's.
and like for gay guys, I mean, we did have the oh, I've already forgotten the name of that race. The really beefy guys. What are they called?
Are you talking about
The
Dragon Age? Because I don't have a clue if you're talking
Yeah,
about
Dragon
Dragon Age.
Age.
I don't know.
Like the
Oh, are
silver.
you talking about
Yeah,
like was the guy in the first one
yeah, I think one of them
in the
was in the first
cage?
one. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I
and I
don't know
can't
what they're
remember.
called, but I know what you're speaking of.
But I
The
mean, he was
Sven guy or
romanceable,
whatever the fuck.
and he was sort of like I guess he would technically be bisexual because you could also romance him as a woman. But then there was like that swashbuckling guy with the mustache, and that guy was gay. That guy was 100% gay, and but and that was I mean, I guess what I'm getting at here is that there should be if regardless of who you're playing as, or if you're a straight guy playing a gay character, or if you're a gay person playing a straight character, who cares? But you should have the options available to your character so you can go out there into the world, and it can be more a part of, like, you can experience the adventure, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. I know
Yeah.
this doesn't make any sense.
No,
This
I
is
mean,
just where I'm coming from.
no, I get it. I get it. So that like you have so the options are open for you to go with anybody that you'd like to.
Yeah, because I mean, when you're playing Mass Effect and you're playing
Because
a
their
gay character,
orientation doesn't change their character.
it really doesn't. Like, and even if you had to add a few lines of dialogue or whatever, or just change the he she pronouns, whatever. I mean,
Right, it's not hard.
it's not hard at all. They do it all the time in these games for every other conversation. So it shouldn't be difficult to do that here too. But what I'm getting at is if you're in Mass Effect the trilogy and you're playing a gay character, you're pretty much closeted until the third game, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense considering it's the future. But
Well, yeah, and like whoever, like, and if you weren't ever trying to romance somebody in the first two because you couldn't, and then you're suddenly romancing them in the third, you missed out on having this growing relationship with them throughout the first two games
yeah,
because you were just cut off from it and you couldn't do it. Like you could be buddies, but you couldn't do anything else.
yeah, and they even did this for the lesbians. They gave them Liara. So
Well, what are they, Asari? They're just scary. And Liara is, I just don't think she's for the lesbians. She's creepy.
I would agree with you on Liara. I still think the Asari are amazing, and I would still love to play as an Asari.
I think the Asari are okay, and most of the ones you meet in the game I think are cool. Liara is fucking creepy.
I would agree with you, but
Like,
I think the
ooh.
reason why I like the Asari is just because they had like this natural inclination toward biotics, and that makes me want to play as one because it's like, oh, I'll have even better biotic skills if I'm playing as an Asari. Because I like unlocked the Asari really early on in multiplayer, and I was so happy because it's always random. You don't know what you're going to get. Like whenever you buy one of those stupid boxes with the game currency, and I got one really early, and I was so excited. So, yeah, playing as an Asari for the first time in Part 3 was a lot of fun.
But they did show us, literally for only 2 seconds. So it was kind of annoying. The speaking options, they went through that so fast though that it makes me nervous.
Oh, I didn't even really pay attention. Tell me about that.
It was half a second, which makes me nervous because they went so in depth when I was telling you about how they want to get rid of the Paragon Renegade system. They want to make the conversations more open, and The thing is, from the brief glimpse, because whoever made this decision, because you're like talking to this girl in this room, I don't even remember the conversation, but you have to answer her, and you have four options. They're not in red or blue or anything. They're all the same color. There's no tones next to them, no hearts or anything like that, no stars, any pictures. So that's good.
Yeah.
We don't have any of that, but it's just four options. But
Well, I mean,
whoever
it
was
might be
making
for
the
those.
choice made it so quickly that you couldn't read them.
Well, I mean, whoever was playing it might have also been, they were just going through the thing for the demo purposes. They already knew what they were going to do, and so.
Yeah, I guess, because it looks like you had four options, but there's no nothing's highlighted in color. There's no hearts or anything like that to indicate what kind of conversation you're going. But I'm upset that we don't have like tone. I just want
Well, I mean,
tone.
the thing about tone is, though, that not everything necessarily would have tone. Like, some of
I
it
guess.
would be, like, even I think with Dragon Age Inquisition, it's been a while, but even like Dragon Age 2 and Dragon Age Inquisition that had these sort of picture things by the things, they didn't have it, I think, for everything, but I can't really remember 100%. I've kind of blocked out Dragon Age from my mind, so.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I can't really say anything about it because they showed it in such a brief flash.
I know a lot of people were making fun of the facial animations of Ryder when
Yeah, she
she
looks a
steals
little
the
silly.
gun. she she was smiling as she takes the gun, and so they had to issue a statement saying, "Yes, we're aware. We're working on that. We're working on the facial animations." So
Well, don't
because
put it in your gameplay trailer if it's not ready.
well, I mean they had to show something.
Yeah,
So
they had to,
I
they had to
mean.
give us something, or we would have
It
been
was
mad.
just funny looking. Like she's got this goofy grin on her face as she's stealing someone's weapon. It's like, yay! But
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm making my character look way different from that.
Oh, mine too, Shane.
Like,
Mine too.
I'm not doing that. I'm gonna have to do 2 playthroughs now.
I know.
Ugh, it's
I
gonna be a
haven't really
long
heard the
game.
male writer's voice. We heard the female writer's voice.
I think we've heard him briefly.
Like the only thing that he's done before this that I can think of is like Octodad. I never played it, but all he does in that I think is grunt, right? Like make these grunting
I don't
sounds.
know because I don't play stupid games.
I never
I
played
don't
it. I
know.
just saw some video footage
I
because I
know,
wanted to see what
I
his
know
voice
you
sounded
don't
like.
either, but I will never be able to form an opinion on that because I will never in my life open that game.
Maybe he
Absolutely
spoke
not.
during the trailer, one of the trailers. I can't
He
remember.
did in one of them, but it was very brief.
So
It
yeah,
was very brief.
we'll see.
I was also very interested in the brief showing they did of the systems and being able to choose the planets within a system. And
Oh
it
yeah.
showed, at the top of the screen, it showed progression. So it looks like you'll be able to do progression within each system, and within each system, there's planets. So you can progress on each system, or maybe it's each planet within a system that you're progressing on. But either way, I'm excited. That means there's lots of stuff to do on each one.
And I think even the armor, like it looked like they had like different types of armor. You could get like the greaves or
Well,
the
you have to craft it all
chest plate.
yourself.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, they said everything you are going to have to find and craft every single thing in the game.
Oh my god, I don't want to do that.
You're on a planet where there's no humans. Like you're in
They
a
can-
whole new world where there's no people.
Why can't I like give this to somebody else to do?
Yeah,
Like,
but they said that like you're gonna have to do a lot of exploring to find things that you need and find items and to make armor and all that stuff, and everything's gonna be able to be customized.
oh my god.
I'm really excited for that.
Well, they've confirmed one character coming back.
Who?
Well, I mean, it's don't get your hopes up. It's
Who?
nothing. It's Avena,
Who?
the Citadel
Oh, no one fucking
hologram.
cares.
I know. Like I read this clickbait.
Why would they tell
headline.
us that? Don't read
Well,
clickbait.
Well, I-
Jesus.
Well, it's okay. The headline said, "We just found out there's a confirmed character from the original trilogy returning." And you think I'm not going to click on that? Of course, I'm going to click
Well,
on
we
that.
already know none of our people can be in there because they leave during
I
the
know.
time that we're off doing adventures. So yeah, you've
Well,
already
wait.
confirmed that Garrus can't be there.
That's not necessarily true because we leave before Mass Effect 2, but we arrive way after Mass Effect 3.
Okay.
So who knows? Like maybe there was a way that Liara could come over there.
I swear to God,
at
if
1000.
Liara is in this game, I will break it.
Hello, Ryder. Would you
No.
like to research things about the Protheans.
See, it's weird because like for half the game she'll be like really flirty and excited, and the rest of the game she's just gonna be nervous and fucking mad all the time.
Dark and broody. And
Liara
just
is a
like giving
freak
you
of
looks.
nature. I think she's just pregnant through the whole game. She's just weird. Like there's something wrong with her. But I'm happy to see a Turian. I'm excited that it's a female Turian because we don't see those.
Yeah, I think the only time they released anything on female Turians was like in a comic book way back when.
Yeah, we've never seen one in the games.
Yeah, never.
Like there's never been one. So
it's really weird that we've never seen one because we've been on the Citadel and apparently there were only men, male.
Well, and then
Turians.
we went onto one of the planets that the Turians had.
I know.
And we fought alongside them, like
Not
bunches
a
of
single
them.
woman.
Nope.
Not a single woman in the military.
No.
Ugh.
So, which it makes me curious about their culture, to see how they stand and why they're so hidden, or if maybe it's on purpose.
I
don't
think
know.
it was just the artist didn't have time in the trilogy.
I think the female Turian looks really pretty though. I
mean,
like
even
her.
like the female Krogans look exactly like the men.
Yes, they do. Well, most of them are wearing like sheets over their head and stuff.
Oh yeah, they have like different head coverings.
Yeah, they're wearing just head garb. Like that's the only difference. It's like, oh, that's got to be a lady. She's wearing stuff on her head.
Yeah, and the female Turians don't look too different from the male Turians.
Well, they do. They do have a slightly different shape.
Yeah, it is slight, but
they
I
are
kind of noticed
thinner.
it. That's why I was like, oh, that's a female Turian.
Well, yeah, I was like, you look like a lady. And then like their head and their mandibles also are not. I spent a lot of time looking at Turians. They also like their heads are like they're a lot smoother looking, and their mandibles aren't as out there and rough as the male ones were. And she's got pretty coloring on her face, which is just like their tribal symbols. That's all that stuff is. So she belongs to some tribe, because any Turian that has face paint belongs to a tribe. So she belongs to a people.
Oh my goodness.
Which I don't know if Garrus had face paint.
I think he did. Or well, I guess he just had scars, and I kind of assumed that was
Garrus didn't wear
paint-y.
face paint. He wasn't part of a tribe.
No tribe for him.
That's my archangel. Don't you dare. He earned those scars. How dare you?
Right.
But I'm excited because I'll romance the hell out of that Turian. I mean, it's a reflex. Like, you give me a Krogan and a Turian, they're not going to make the Krogan romanceable. It's just not going to happen.
Well, they might.
If they better.
I mean, the Krogans, you don't know.
That's dangerous, though.
Everything's a little dangerous.
Well, it's aliens. Just not supposed to do it.
I think you're supposed to try.
I don't think it's a good idea.
For diplomatic reasons.
So I'm going to... Oh, I didn't have anything else on the Andromeda trailer. Did you have anything else?
On Andromeda, I do not believe I have anything else. No, I don't see anything on here.
Okay, there's something I'm going to bring up, and I know you have nothing to say about it.
Oh my god.
I know, you just hate it, and it really makes me sad. But
wait, what do I hate?
They released a new trailer for Death Stranding.
I don't hate Death Stranding.
Oh my god, that's not the vibes you give me.
It's not my cup of tea. Okay, but go ahead.
And they revealed that Mads Mikkelsen's gonna be in it, and we don't know if he's like a good or bad guy because there's like this weird, almost skeletal army in the game, and like it kind of opens with you seeing more of the crabs and stuff. So I thought it might be like just similar to the one we saw, and it'd be more naked Norman Reedus holding a baby.
Yeah, it's a pickled baby.
Well, no, Norman Reedus was holding just a regular baby.
Oh, yeah, he was holding a regular one. The other person had a baby in a jar. So.
I don't think it's pickled baby. But anyway, there's this big jolly fat man who's very scary looking and has like a scar around his forehead. So who knows what happened to him? I'm thinking a lobotomy. He's carrying around this baby in a tube, which the baby doesn't look like it's like ready to be born yet. But he just has it, and he's like guarding it with his life, and it's kind of obvious that people are hunting him for it. But Norman Reedus had also found a baby. So I'm wondering if like whatever this skeletal army thing is with like their tanks with guts coming off of them is like trying to eradicate human beings, or turn them into something else. Because when we see Mads Mikkelsen's character, he's like got black gunk all over his face, and all these skeleton soldiers are like attached to him by these cords. And then he just kind of like points forward, and they all disattach. And then he sees a baby beneath him, and his face looks normal, like he's finally a person again or something. I don't know. It all looked very interesting to me, and I'm curious to see how. Like, I just want to know like how this game's gonna play. Like, I don't even know if they can show gameplay for this kind of game, and how they're going to make co-op work for the story. Because it looks like there's a couple different main characters, and I don't know if we're gonna be able to play them all.
Well, you had sort of like, okay, so you've got babies in there, and it looked like there was a connection between the baby and the evil guy with the skeleton army, because their eyes.
Well, there's
were doing
also
the
the
same
people in the
twitch.
sky too.
So I'm almost wondering, do the babies control these people? Like, do they use the babies to control the people, to control the skeleton warriors? Are babies just going to be the collectible item you find throughout the levels, and you just kind of pick one up, and it goes, and
you just
it
find
says you
toys.
collected, you
Because the
collected
baby
12 of
that
80
was in the
babies.
water wasn't a real one; it was a toy.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's still weird. I mean,
which it's absolutely supposed to be. And I think they're doing. I think Kojima's doing a great job delivering what he wanted to. Like, he wanted to give you fucking something weird, and it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So,
yeah. I mean, it'll definitely appeal to fans, I think, of the Silent Hill games and people who enjoy that kind of thing. And that's that.
Well, I mean, you have to buy it.
I realize I have to buy it because it's a co-op game, and
you don't really have options here. So.
I realize we'll be highlighting this game, and it makes me a little sad, but I'm going to get through it.
Oh my god! You know what though?
It's going to be fine.
It'll be an interesting experience.
It'll be all fine.
Because
it'll be fine.
I don't think if I know you at all, I would say that you are more geared towards action horror. If horror at all, you're not really a horror fan. You don't like to be scared.
That's true.
I don't know, like, based on what I've seen you play and enjoy, it would seem as if you like action horror, whereas Silent Hill and games like this are much more like psychological. They want to make you uncomfortable. They don't care so much about scare.
I don't get uncomfortable with Silent Hill games. I just find them ugly. I don't like the aesthetics. I think they look I think they just look ugly. I don't like
supposed to.
And gory stuff all over the walls. To me, it's not scary. It's not gross. It's just ugly. I'm like, give me a nice-looking mansion from Resident Evil, and I'm in heaven. Let me explore there. Let me look for clues, kill zombies, kill creatures, whatever. Jump scares galore. I'm fine with all of it, but just fix the frickin' look of the game. And that's what I have a problem with Resident Evil. It's not anything but that, I promise you.
Huh.
And that actually leads us to Resident Evil 7, or as I call it, Silent Hill. So I don't know if you've played the demo. I know they just updated the demo.
I watched the VR one.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it just looks like a ripoff of fucking shitty horror movies that I've watched, and I've watched the remakes of already. There is not a piece of it from, granted, I've said this time and time again, I do not know anything about the Resident Evil universe except for things that Razzle has told me. He has kept me very informed, though. I do know most of the characters, like backstories and stuff, because we've played a lot of it, so I've asked a lot of questions. So I think I know enough to form some kind of opinion. And from what I've seen in this, I don't see anything that's Resident Evil. I don't see a single thing. Because from what I've seen of the games, even though I will say I don't think Resident Evil's storylines make sense. I don't think they go together very well a lot of the time. And I don't think they really care about how things go with their story. They don't seem really invested in it. Is how I feel about it. But they do have a very big story and all these characters that are all deeply tied together, and all of those things always seem to resurface and come back in Resident Evil games. And this one didn't have any of those things. And so to me, it just kind of like it's taking it completely out of the Resident Evil world from what I'm seeing. And it just doesn't. It feels like they should have just said, "Hi, we have a new IP." Like,
Oh.
why call it Resident Evil? Not that it's even new, because what you're doing I've already seen. I've already played it. So I don't know why you're bothering, but I don't think they should have called it Resident Evil because I don't know how it ties in with that universe at all.
Yeah, there's nothing about it that has anything to do with Resident Evil that I've seen, and that's what I was about to say. It was that I don't think even the people making this know what the hell Resident Evil is. I mean, as far as I can tell, it's just generic horror thing, Texas Chainsaw Massacre
That's
inspired,
yeah. That's what I.
Hills Have Eyes bullshit.
Yeah, it's because it
And
didn't feel Silent Hill to me. It felt more Texas Chainsaw, like crazy family bullshit.
And let me just say
Like,
this. People who have been bitching about Resident Evil 6 and how it's lost the formula of the original games, well, I don't see why they're excited about this piece of trash that they're showing out right now. This is not Resident Evil. This is just your freaking generic horror game. All right, you want to go play a horror game? Go play a horror game. I don't know why the hell you'd want to turn Resident Evil into something that has nothing to do with. I didn't see any zombies in there. I didn't see anything from
it
Raccoon
literally,
City
it
or.
just falls into the same mold of horror games that they've been pumping out for the last few years.
And it's
They've done
first
nothing
person.
different. Yeah, like the thing is, we have a fuck ton of first-person horror games right now. We have those games where it's all jump scares and all this shitty fucking atmosphere. It's all the same. Like
It just
nobody
looks dumb.
cares anymore. Like
And
it's shitty.
as a fan of so many Resident Evil games, I'll just say it. It looks probably like the worst Resident Evil I've ever seen. I'd put it.
Didn't they say that this? I might be drawing on a conversation we had a while back, but about them saying that they wanted to go back to its roots with this game.
Yeah, they said that. They said they were going to go
Okay.
back to the roots, and apparently they are pulling up the wrong tree because these roots don't look anything like what I remember. So, and I've recently played the original two games again. So, I mean,
And I have played the first one. I've played a couple hours of it, and I can't say that I see any bearing resemblance between the two.
no, there's nothing there. It's just bullshit. It's just stupid. I'm not planning to pick it up.
They
And
did show I don't know if you saw the images they released of their new monsters for it.
Oh, I don't give a shit.
They have these new monsters called the Molded, which by all indications mean that whatever kind of monsters they have in this game, they were created by something, someone, whatever.
My coverage of this game from here on out is probably just going to be saying it looks like shit. So, I mean, and that's coming from me because, hey, you know what? I liked Resident Evil. I liked it a lot. I don't know what this is, and if it was called something else, I'd have no issue with it. But if you're going to call it Resident Evil, to me, that's false advertising because I don't see anything Resident Evil about any of this. That's like creating a new Batman, and you don't put Batman in it. And it's just
Right.
about a detective walking
It's like-
around. I'm like, what the hell is this? It's like, well, it's got a detective in it, so it's going back to the roots, No, you fucking idiot. There's no Batman in there. What the hell is the matter
You called
with
it
you?
Batman. What are you doing?
And that's how I feel about this. Now, if they actually change this around and they show us suddenly that, hey, no, you're actually playing a character who ties into the story, and here's something related to Umbrella, or here's something related to the first two games, or here's something related to Part 4, or even
Yeah, but
Part
they didn't
6.
give you anything. They
haven't given you
through
anything. It's
through every single thing we've seen, there is not a single Easter egg, a single piece that makes you go, oh yeah, I recognize this. Like that could be something from this. Like there's no connections to any other Resident Evil game in this.
No, it just the only connections I see have nothing to do with Resident Evil. It looks like it's connected to those more recent horror type games, but like not obscure. What am I talking about? I'm talking about.
Oh my god, not obscure. Don't you dare.
I'm talking about. I don't even know the names of them because I
Well,
don't
honestly,
follow
here,
them.
if I would say, based on me, from what I've seen, there's parts of it that remind me of things like, oh Jesus, what am I thinking of? Like, what was I?
You don't know.
I
either.
can't know.
So-
Like I think of Outlast.
Well,
That's
yeah,
one of the
that's
ones
what I
that
was
comes
getting
up a lot.
at, Outlast.
Games like Layers of Fear, Amnesia, things like that. And
I realize you're Googling this, but
no, I'm not. You hear the typing.
I don't hear anything.
Exactly.
I'm joking. Oh my God,
dare
you're
you.
so testy. Mm.
But I just,
But no.
I don't, it just doesn't, it's just, we already have these games, and I've already seen this movie. Like, I don't, it's not an original idea. They're not doing anything different or fun or new. You put me in a crazy family's house that are hunting me down. That's all I feel like.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
So bravo, Resident Evil 7, which I don't even think we should call Resident Evil 7. Just call it standard, generic, bullshit Capcom horror game. Have fun with it. But it's in VR, so maybe people will enjoy it.
Just call it like 2016 horror games.
I will say this: even if
one.
it's a mediocre game, if you put it in VR, it's probably going to be like 10 times better because right now VR horror games are big, like they're huge, like because they can scare you with even less effort. It's true.
Yeah,
like,
I think it'll be a lot better for that purpose if you're just looking to be scared and kind of have a stupid good time, without really caring about what you're doing. But
yeah. And they could have just called it anything. I mean, they could have just called it VR horror, and they
right.
But whatever, we'll just.
But they gotta ride that IP hype.
We'll keep covering this crap, and I have no intention of playing the demo. I thought maybe you had played it, but
no.
I mean,
I've just yesterday I was gonna play the Outlast 2 demo finally, but I didn't get around to it. But I'm gonna be doing that. People were asking me to stream it, but I'm not streaming a fucking Outlast demo.
But before we go into any other game stuff, I wanted to mention really fast the Star Trek news that came out a couple of weeks back about Michelle Yeoh and Anthony Rapp, both confirmed cast members of the new Star Trek, which is going to be called Star Trek Discovery. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty cool news. I like both of those actors a lot, and that's actually the first good news I've heard about this show. So I'm kind of excited about that. I'm going to be watching this thing regardless.
We have to cling to the good news.
Exactly.
Always cling to the good.
We got to cling to the good. But that's all I wanted to say about that.
There was another show that you had brought up to me that I see that you actually used Evernote and put it on here.
I did do that.
So
yes.
That brought me joy deep down inside. I just want you to know. So tell me about this Humans.
Yeah, well, they've got I don't know if this is a show that's continuing because I think this season or whatever was in 2015. So maybe it's continuing. Maybe there's a second season out there that'll be released on Amazon. But it's called Humans, and it's an Amazon series and mostly English actors. But there's also William Hurt. What am I talking about? John Hurt.
John Hurt.
Well,
what?
William Hurt's in there, So it's a very good show. It reminds me, like when I first started watching it, the reason why I started watching it, because I read the description and I thought, this sounds a lot like that Detroit Becoming Human or whatever it's called being made right now.
Quantic Dream's new game.
Yeah, the Quantic Dream new game.
Yeah.
And it sounded a lot like that. It's basically, here's the premise, here's the setup without giving really anything away. It's sort of like an alternate reality, modern day, where people have created these synthetic beings to basically be like housemaids or butlers or whatever, basically people to help out. And that's what they are. But now some things are getting a little bit more complicated because maybe some of them are becoming sentient. So it's very similar to that Detroit feel, I think. And it's a very good show. I enjoyed it a lot. It's a very emotional show in some parts. Like there's this one part I can't even tell you about, but it was a very emotional moment, and that's all I can say.
And is this an Amazon exclusive show?
No, I don't think it is, but it is on Amazon Prime, so you can watch the first season on there. No, it might be, but I don't think it is. But I know you can watch the first season on there. Hopefully you can watch the second season if they release one.
It looks like Humans is an AMC show.
Oh, that could be it.
Yep. So. I just looked it up. It does have a premiere date.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it actually just got it yesterday.
Oh, my goodness.
So there's that. It'll be, they're adding a new cast member, Carrie Ann Moss.
I know that name.
Yeah, is that who I'm thinking it is? No, it's not. I don't know who the fuck she is. But it will debut Monday, February 13th at 10 p.m.
And I won't be able to watch it, but that's okay. I'll wait till it's got the second season, and then I'll get the whole thing. So
it's going to be 8 episodes, and it takes place several months after the events of year 1.
Why are you reading this? You shouldn't be reading it.
I'm not reading anything else.
Spoilers all over the place. Oh my god.
It does after that, but I didn't read them.
But you should check it out. It's only 8 episodes long, and it's a really good show. I enjoyed it a lot, and so yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
I have one more thing.
Oh, I've got plenty of more we can go into, but go right ahead.
I have to give you an update on Mafia 3.
Oh, okay. Let's go
I just
into
have to
Mafia
give
3.
I just have to give updates. I'm still not done with the game because the game won't end.
No, it doesn't. It keeps going.
It's just at this point it is a relentless assault on my mind. And I wish I had a lot of good things to say about it, and I don't. I'm finding less good things to
Okay.
say about it the more I keep playing it. Um, so I think the last time we talked, I had just given like Vito a district or whatever, and I was helping him with finding the people that killed Joe and all that stuff. So I've been unlocking districts and stuff. I gave Burke one, I gave Cassandra one, so she would shut the fuck up. And I thought after I gave her a district, she'd stop being such a bitch. I was wrong, because the next sit down, I went to give somebody else a district, and she just starts bitching and complaining the whole time. So I've decided she's cut off. No more. She doesn't understand how to do business. We're done with
Well, I mean,
Cassandra.
they're all kind of like that at the
But
beginning.
they're
So
not though. Like the rest,
yeah, they are.
like Burke was like, the very first place, Burke's like, hey, I don't got any people here, so fuck it. Like I'll just wait. And then Vito's like, I understand you have to do what you have to do, and I'm like, all right. And then there's Cassandra. We gotta watch out for our people, brother. And I'm like, I'm not your brother. Get the fuck out of here. And she's like,
Well,
people in the Hollow think we need to stick together. I'm like, no, we do not.
well, I mean, it depends on who you give things to, and it also depends on the order you give people
Well, I've been
things.
giving everybody like this, like if I know who I'm gonna give the district to, I've been giving all the rackets to that person, so then there's not a fight later about it. Because I don't want to deal with it. Because I think that system was poorly implemented. Because you give these rackets to somebody, so you temporarily have these boosts, and then you can take them away just to give somebody else
That's what
the
I was
district.
telling you about. Like back when I was talking about it, was
Yeah.
that there's no moral or ethical thing about it. It's just give each one their own frickin' area, give them all the things in it, and that's that. I mean, it's not complicated. You
See,
can
but I'm
equally
curious
share it apart.
if I equally tear it apart though, can I unlock all of Vito's side story?
Yeah, I mean, I think if what you're referring to, then yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, like, because where it says, like, you can do all the side stuff for them. Like, they have, like, the side racket missions you can do, which are just bullshit, stupid, repetitive things.
Yeah, because I unlocked like all of their like quote unquote secrets or whatever. Just
Yeah,
playing
like,
it
they have, like,
like
their
that.
little story things that
Yeah,
they do.
and you can come to the
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so
So
even if I were to split up everything evenly, I could still take revenge on the people that killed Joe.
I mean, I can't really talk about this.
Just let me
But I
know
mean,
if I can
I
split
don't
everything
I
up
don't know if I
evenly.
can answer that with 100% because I can't remember
Yeah, I'm
everything.
giving everything to Vito. That's it.
Okay,
I
do
have
what you
to.
want.
I
But
have to.
there's a lot of stuff I want to talk to you about, but I can't because you haven't experienced the whole game, and there's
Yeah, I just
some
right now
stuff that I can't
story-wise,
bring up.
I got to the point where we went to the party and gave everybody the MK Ultra LSD
Yeah,
wine.
I remember that.
Which was interesting. I took an unnecessary smoke break just so the game could load the sequence of everybody going insane, which I thought was an interesting way to try to deter me. Um, but then I go in and some guy's slitting his wrist, everyone's going crazy, like everyone's naked. Um, and I had to go and like kill Olivia, which I didn't do. Her husband ends up doing it for her, I guess. Well, I think Georgie is his son. Am I wrong about that? Is Georgie his kid?
Who are we talking about?
Sal Marcano. Is Georgie the one who shoots you in the head in the beginning of the game? Is that Sal's son?
Yeah, yeah, he's
Okay,
the
I wasn't sure because Georgie slit his mom's throat. Like, just with no feelings about it, just slit her throat. And Sal was like, good job, son. Now I have business to attend to.
I don't remember that happening, so maybe it depends on what you're doing, but
I don't know, because with Olivia, Lincoln won't kill women, I guess, unless
yeah, I
he
know every
absolutely has
single
to.
fucking character in the Mafia games has a problem with shooting a woman in the head.
I don't.
So,
Like, Lincoln won't do it because John Donovan was being interviewed, and he's like, yeah,
and
this
I
lady
can't
overseas blew us
anything.
up, and we wanted to kill her, and he wouldn't let us.
Oh, I want you to bring that up again sometime because I got a lot to say on this topic, but I
Yeah,
can't
but
talk about it.
I also find that I'm falling so in love with Donovan. He's such a wonderful character. I wish there was more of him in the game.
Yeah, he's a cool character.
Like when I'm watching him, like I just got through with this scene that was, I didn't know what was going on, but he's holding wire cutters essentially, and like they're big, thick ones, and he's like holding them up, and he's like looking real serious, and I thought he was like cutting a wire, and like that he was nervous. Then it zooms out, and he's just cutting his toenails. He's just hanging out, cutting his toenails, and he's like, my personal hygiene is very important to me, Lincoln. He's like, I'll do what you need me to do in a little bit. Just let me do this. But
Well,
I'm
the
finding,
next time.
I'm finding I'm just getting, because tomorrow I'm finishing it. I'm just gonna play till I'm
Okay,
done. I
'cause
figure if I've killed Olivia at this point, I've killed Remy Duval, all them. I've only got 2 more towns to take over. I'm confronting a guy in one of them now, and then I've got 1 more town.
well, when you do, we'll talk about it because I can't talk about it right
I
now
know.
because
I'm finding
you know
it's Mafia
I can't talk
3
about it.
for the gameplay that it provides. The game lasts too long.
See, and I wish we would talk about this later because I can't even respond to that.
I'm just
So
telling you. I
let's
just
pick
really.
something else real fast and go into that
It's
because we can't do
so.
Mafia 3 right now.
It's just so
Next topic.
frustrating.
Next topic.
Well, find one. Because that's what I spent my entire day doing. So I had to just give you an update of where I'm at and that I'll be finishing tomorrow. I have to. I'm spending the entire day.
Okay, well, you do that.
Yeah.
And you finish that game.
Well, what do you got? You
I
said you
don't
had a
really have
lot.
anything. Well, I mean, I could say this. Okay, hold on. Wait, let me find something real fast.
Okay. We don't have
Here's
much
one.
time left, so you can give me something. You can give me something
Okay,
small.
Tom Ford thinks all men should be penetrated at least once. What are your thoughts?
Penetrated how?
Sexually.
Okay, let's get more specific. Does he mean anally or orally?
He probably means.
He probably means anal.
He probably
Which is something I also walked in on Mafia 3 in the bathhouse. But I just remembered that today. I sat there and watched for a while because I didn't know how to walk away. I was like, oh, this is interesting. These guys are very comfortable in this windowed room. So he thinks that every man should experience anal sex once.
Well, it sounds like that's what he means.
Fuck it. Why not?
There you go.
I'm just saying, like, I don't understand, like,
Well, he says,
I don't
hold on
understand the
one second.
immediate aversion to it. Like, you don't need to be gay to do it. You can be a straight man or a gay man and do it. Like,
See, I agree.
there's ways to do it. Like, you could go up to your girlfriend and be like, here's this, do me. And maybe she's comfortable with that. It'll be like a dominant thing. She'll have all this control. It'll be really great. I don't know. I don't see a problem with it. I think a lot of people are just like unnecessarily freaked out. When there's no reason. Chances are, majority of them would enjoy it. If I'm being honest.
I think he was mostly talking to straight men when he said this, obviously. But
well, yeah. I mean, what the fuck? Every gay man should be penetrated at least once.
No, I know several gay men who will not be penetrated. So, but
wait, what do you mean? Like they just refuse the thought, the idea? Does it need to be?
Yeah.
Is he saying they need to be penetrated by a man or penetrated in general?
Well, he didn't really specify, but it looks like he's talking about
just...
men because his reasoning for this is that he thinks it will help them understand women. And I was just thinking...
I don't think you should force a guy to just have sex with a dude in order for them to understand women. That's a rape. But that is rape. But I mean, I don't know. I think they could experiment with their significant other and figure it out if they want to. If they don't want to, fuck it.
That's a homework assignment for everybody listening to the Prattlecast tonight.
Go have anal sex.
Report back.
Let us know if you understand women.
Yeah, do you understand women now?
I want to know how it computes. How does he think it helps understand women? Does he have reasoning behind that?
No, I mean he has some reasonings.
Okay,
he says
I want to know how anal sex goes to women.
He says, quote, I think there's a psych, is that the right word, psych or psyche? I don't know. Okay, he says that there's one of those that happens because of it that makes you understand and appreciate what women go through their whole life because it's not just sexual, it's a complete setup of the way the world works. That one sex has the ability to literally and is expected to and is wanted to, but also there's an invasion, and I think that that's something most men do not understand at all.
Wait. Tom Ford believes that if I'm hearing what you said right, is he saying that women feel like when they have sex it is an invasion of their body?
I don't know what the hell Tom Ford is talking about, honestly, but We had to pick something, and this is what I found.
I mean, it's interesting.
It's different.
I don't think it's... How is it an invasion of your body? It is a natural function.
Yeah, I know.
That you actively seek out, oh, but this is invasive. This is an invasion. You know how many women out there are reading? Oh my God, the amount of victims reading this article right now. I can't.
It's going to be reshared.
There's just going to be like, see, I'm a victim. I was right. I'm being abused. Ugh. See, now sex is bad. Sex has been made bad by this person. And the only way to understand how a woman feels is to do anal. So there you go. That's the only way to understand how we feel, apparently.
That's the world.
I'm going to tell you I politely disagree.
I think it's the only way for them to understand gay men.
I mean, yeah. Like if that's your only option, it's like, now you understand this. Now you know.
See, but that wouldn't even work because there are gay guys who won't do anal. So
isn't that why they're tops? Isn't that how that works?
No, I mean, they won't even top. They won't top our bottom.
Wait a minute. Hold the phone. So there are gay men out there who won't have sex?
I mean, they'll do oral. They'll do, like, different stuff, but
they won't have
like,
sex.
They won't do things that involve penetration, I guess. I guess they do because they do oral. But I guess what I'm saying is...
It doesn't count, though.
But I'm just saying, there's like a myriad of people out in the world, but yeah, whatever.
That's not whatever. That's big news to me.
It is big news if it like affects you directly, and like you're getting with a partner and
you find out
hey,
I
honey,
won't have sex with you.
I don't want to have sex
ever. Like ever.
Okay.
I am asexual. I don't do this. I'll do everything else, but
if they're asexual and they're not gay, I mean, what?
Well, if you're asexual, that just means you don't like to do anything sexual, actually. So you wouldn't do anything.
I'm reminded of this line from Sex and the City. You remember when
Jesus Christ.
What was her name?
You're taking me back in time to a place.
The classy one. It's been years.
Oh, well, it's not Sam.
No.
It's not. It's not Sarah Jessica Parker. Yeah. Oh my God, the cute little one.
Yeah,
I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I know, she's so forgettable. Yeah. Anyway,
I mean, they all are.
She's like going through this phase in her life where she wants to be a lesbian, and so she's hanging out with all these lesbian women. And toward the end of this episode, they walk up to her. Somebody walks up to her about engaging in sex or something, and she kind of confides, and it's just like, well, I mean, I don't really want to be like sexual or anything. I just prefer the company of women. And the lesbian's looking at her, and she's like, yeah, I understand, but if you're not going to eat pussy, then get the hell out. Or something to that effect. It's been a couple of years, but...
Well, I mean, she's not wrong.
I know, right?
I mean, you're either there or you're not there.
And so, I mean, whatevs. It's cool, but...
I like it when you pick topics.
Me?
Yeah, we go from a whole night of game talk and TV shows, and we end on anal.
I know, we just completely changed the rating of this episode.
It's always been explicit.
People come into this thing, it's like explicit. They're like listening to them. They're just talking about like PSX.
I mean, like they swear sometimes, but like whatever.
Yeah, and then we get down to the end. It's like, oh, what is this? It's like, no, this is us after dark.
No, this is this is when the news is done, and we're just like shit posting to you live. That's it.
This is that room behind the curtain at the video rental store that we just wandered into.
Yeah. So, it's like we are the magazine with the wrapper over it. That's just what's happening right now. It's okay.
So that happened. Well, so I think we're in agreement then that men need to be penetrated.
Men need to be penetrated, not once, not twice, but many times to understand the invasion that women deal with every day.
Exactly.
I just can't process America anymore. This can't be real life. But
it's Tom Ford.
Tom Ford, man, he's got thoughts and he wants to share them. But go experiment. Tell us how it goes. Do that, America. Let us know your journey, because Jesus Christ, we're gonna end there. Just accept that for what it is. You can email us about any of this. about this whole hour and 20 minutes. At theprattlecast@gmail.com. Leave us a message at speakpipe.com/theprattlecast. Every episode is uploaded on YouTube each week. At about the same time, it's uploaded on iTunes and everything else. You can also find the podcast on Twitter at theprattlecast, and our personal Twitters are at ShakezillaTV and at Razzle_Dazzles. We stream together every Friday or Saturday between 3 and 5 p.m. We're currently playing Star Trek Online, which should be fun. We'll be playing that on Saturday. I can't guarantee we'll be human, but we will be here because Fuller House is on Friday, so that's where we will be with the wine and the drinking and the full house and the new kids on the block. So if you guys are watching that, you can share your adventures with us about Fuller House too. But that's all we got for you. We'll see you next week.
Whoa.
What?
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Patreon.
Am I missing something? Oh my God! I wrote it down last week, and I don't have it in front of me. Okay. I've been scolded. Okay. Oh my God, Razzle.
You almost ended this.
I did almost end it. Okay, I didn't write it down this week. Anyway, so we've got the Patreon, which is a place you can go and donate as little as $1, at most a lot. Don't do that. You don't have to do that. That's a lot of money. But you can donate as little as $1 a month, and it just goes towards helping us with our streams and the podcast, and you get perks for every amount. So the more you donate, obviously, the more you would get. The more interaction you get with the podcast, the more interaction you have with us, the more you get to be involved in things. So it is located in the description of the episode. There's a link there, so you can go check it out and see what's there. There are weekly posts on there of things that are going on. Game reviews, shit like that, are coming as well. So, yeah, we have that. Am I missing anything else?
I think that was everything.
Well, you killed me.
I think that's it.
Well, that's it. So, be nice to each other, guys. We'll see you next week.